We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a dear heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll and the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see a rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is time of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh, yeah. People of Biafra. See light shining on the world. Oh, yeah.
Akara m ihe mbe na-eme mbe si ma achọrọ ofu ukwu ehi ma nke ọzọ mụ achọrọ ihe niile ma ụkwụ ya ma aka ya ma isi ya ma olu ya anyị ga-adọbiri wee pụọ na nke onwe anyị tighata azụ etu anyị nọ tupu ndị ọcha wee bịa ebe a nwa aha obodo ebe a nwe ndị mmadụ n'ime tupu nwa bekee si ebe o si hapụ obodo ya ọ bịa ebe a ọkpọrọ onye nke ọkpọrọ okeke ọkpọrọ okafọ dakata anyị isi ọ sị n'ụbọchị nke taa na anya aha anyị wuzi Naijiria anyị na-aza aha na-emeghị omimi n'ime ya ihe ngwa gị gbasị biko kọwara m ihe Naijiria pụtara enwepụghị kọwara m ọmụa ga-aza aha osimiri ka osimiri ga-aza aha mụnwa n'ihi ihe anyị na-ekwuwu na ebe arụgidere ụlọ a na ọ jọgburu onwe ya ọ dịghị mma Nigeria agaghị emekọtanwu ihe ọzọ. Ihe ọjọọ emego n'obodo a, arụ emego, egbugo ndị be anyị, aka na-egbukwa anyị, ndị Fulani wee chere na mabata be anyị ka na-egbukwa ndị be anyị ruo ụtụtụ echi. A na-asị m na ọ ga-adị mma oge ọ na-ekwu ka nwee mmekọrịta bụ nke ndị iro kọ nke ndị ụmụnne. Ha egosighị anyị ọtụtụ mgbe ha kpọrọ anyị asị. Onye ajụrụ ajụ na-ajụ onwe ya, ha jụrụ anyị aja ama njụ onwe anyị, agbanyeghị na anyị nwe ngwa ahịa n'ugwu Awụsa, agbanyeghị na anyị na-azụ ahịa ebe niile dị iche iche na-eme nke ọma, kama onye gara ndụ kpakụ onye rie niile. Ọ Ndụbụisi ka anyị na-ekwu okwu ya, ka echehata azụ ebe a ruo obodo anyị ka o wee maa mma, wee karịa obodo ndị ọcha na mma. Ọhịa anyị na-arịọ nwekwe n'ugwu, nwee nkwanye ugwu n'ime onwe anyị. Ọnwa anyị pụọ n'iro a na-etigbu anyị, anyị pụọ n'iro ekwu okwu asị ọ bụ gịnị ma anyị ji wee ekwu okwu. Ụmụ ihe ndị a ka anyị sị na anyị agaghị anabatakwa ya ọzọ.
Akụkọ a kọrọ anyị bụ na ọkụkọ na ewu agaghị nzukọ ụmụ anụmanụ. A na-emezi mgbe ọbụla a chọrọ ịchụ aja ejiri ọkụkọ maọbụ ewu chụ aja. Mgbe ọbụla a chọrọ ime ka Naijiria dị n'otu, enwe ha na-eto esi wee kpam akpụrụ ndị Igbo. Ọ pụtara na anyị bụ ọkụkọ maọbụ ewu, ka ọ pụtara na anyị agaghị nzukọ mere ya bụ ihe ji eme anyị bụ ndị Igbo, ụdị na ọbara ndị Igbo ahụ kpafu n'obodo Naijiria karịa.
Ọ bụ site na akpọmasị ihe na-eme anyị dị ka ihe mere ndị ji oge mgbe gara aga. Etu akụ ka mba niile dị iche iche ji kpọọ ụmụ Izrel asị, a na-egbu ha, a na-egbu ha, a na-egbu ha, afọ niile aka na-egbu ha. O wee ruo oge ugbu anyị asị na ogbugbu a na-egbu anyị na ọ dịghị anyị mma. Ọ ka mma na onwe ihe kwegbuo anyị wu nwere onwe njem a nke anyị na-aga, kama na na-esi etete n'ụtụtụ asị na onwe onye gburu ebe a onwe ha na-ekwu okwu. O doo na onye onye n'aka ụkọchukwu n'ugwu Awụsa ebepụ isi, ọnwụghị ofu ugboro, ọnwụghị ugboro abụọ, ọnwụghị ugboro atọ, ọnwụghị ugboro anọ. Ọ bụ ruo ole mgbe ka a ga-egbugide anyị wee rue anyị asị mba na anyị ga-aga ka anyị nwee ike wee nwere onwe anyị? Ọ ka mma na anyị nwụrụ ebe anyị na-azọ nwere onwe tụbụ na anyị nọ n'ụlọ etu a mmadụ bụ mabata n'ime ụlọ mbịa gbupụ m isi. A sị na-achọghị ụdị nke ọ wụghị anyị maka a ga-eji wee chụọ àjà ọzọ.
Onye si na a ga-ata anyị ahụhụ ma ọ bụ na anyị fe arụsị, anyị wee na-efe arụsị, iwe were iwe gị na ọmụma gị wee bịa leta anyị, ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị. Ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ. Nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ, wee na-ata ikikere eze. Nwaanyị konye ka ọ gaa ubi gaa rụọ ọrụ, Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala ihe niile n'iyi, okwu ebepụ ya isi. Anyị bụ ka anyị kpọpụ onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo. Ihe ọ bụ anyị mara aka n'ime ha si maka ha aga n'ihu. Elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri ọya nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ. Anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra ebe ndị kọstọm sokonye anyị n'etiti anyị. Anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm jiri ebe niile. Ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ. Anyị kwuo ekwesịpụta anyị ka kpọchie, anyị kwuo ekwesịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị. Onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị agaghị isi na-efu ndị iro anyị n'anya wee karịa ndị nke gị. Akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke, akwa ọba aha anyị ka anyị na-aza, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom, akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizọba, nna nke dị nsọ, onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye iro dị na anyị bụ ụmụ gị. Bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị, bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ajọ ihe, bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ, bịa ka iwe tetu ozu. Ọ bụ ọkọwa mgbe emilere Goliath, Chineke nna nke igwe ruo ememila Fero, site otu a mee ka Fero ka ọ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị anyị ga-ebi ka o wee taa akọkọ igiri ụtọ ọzọ. Ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume. Ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ. Ọ bụ nwa bụ ekele n'igwe n'ụwa, onye ọbụla kere gị nweghị mmalite nweghị ọgwụgwụ, kama anyị nwe anyị gwa anọkpa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie, kama ma akpọ na okwu gị na-anọgide ego mgbe ebighị ebi. Ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi, anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ, bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ, bịa ka iwe na-ekebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe, bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị, bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa, ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu nke abịa ma.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on today's program. I appreciate everyone that has connected wherever you are connecting from. Please like and share the program to our platform. Share to family and friends. Share to everyone that is close to you so that we can pass this message for everyone to hear. Remember, a lot has happened and a lot continue to happen. And as they happen, we look into them, we talk about them, and we present it before you to also get you aware of what is going on. There are so many things that are happening in the contraption called Nigeria today, and we cannot ignore those things and pretend they are not happening. We will always speak about them, we will always expose them, we will always talk about them whenever it's happened, wherever it's happened, and when it is happening. So, as we speak today, you know that the United States supplied some instrument to Nigerian government, more especially medical equipment and the other things, some military equipment to Nigerian government. And Nigerian government and their media have been using that as a propaganda, pushing it away in the way of trying to show the world that that they are working and they are doing something. You and I know that Nigerian government is doing nothing when it comes to the insecurity, the genocide, and the loss of life of people in that contraption called Nigeria, more especially the Christians. Nigerian government has not done anything, is not ready to do anything, and has no plan to do anything. The only thing they enjoy is propaganda, blackmail, and we will continue to speak. We will continue to expose them. We will continue to say it the way it is. Please, as you join us on this platform, like the program, share it to people who are out there to join us also and get this information. Do not be discouraged. No matter what you see, no matter what you hear, do not be discouraged. We know that the Janjaweed are doing everything humanly possible. They are doing everything they can to make sure that they take away the attention of the United States from the real thing that is going on in Nigeria. That is why we are coming online every day. The silent conquest of Nigeria, government, Britain, and the Caliphate. The silent conquest of Nigeria by the Janjaweed, the Fulani Caliphate, is ongoing. They are conquering and they are not going back. The government of Nigeria has been hijacked and they are working for the Caliphate. Britain is working for the Caliphate. This is a fact that cannot be denied. That is why even when the United States have offered to help and make sure that those who are losing their life do not lose their life, they are trying to see that they support and help to secure the life of the Christians. But because of the criminality in Nigeria, today they focus on propaganda and blackmail. And we heard a news, we saw it, that Nigerian government is paying $9 million to lobbyists to lobby against the Christian persecution in Nigeria. That is what is going on. But Nigerian media will not report that. What Nigerian media is reporting is about the 750,000 lobby Nigerian is lobbying every month to stop the quest of Biafran people. To stop the quest of Biafra. Nigerian government is paying $750,000 every month for lobbying, while the Biafran group are paying $66,000 to lobby. So you can see the battle is huge, the competition is huge, the battle is huge. And you see the difference is not much because they have all the resources, they have all the connections, they have all the money to throw around. Our own money, they throw it around and they buy lobbies. So now you begin to understand why each time you push the case of Biafra, nobody says anything. Each time you talk about Biafra, nobody talks. Each time you push Biafra, you speak about Biafra, you talk about it. Nobody. You provide evidence, you put it, except nobody will say anything, including the genocide against the Biafrans. Nobody said anything. That is why the United States chose Christian genocide instead of Biafran genocide. And today, even the Christian genocide today, Nigeria is paying $9 million to lobbies to make sure they change the narrative. This is a country that is begging for money. This is a country that is crying that they don't have money. This is a country that is borrowing every blessed day, but they have to spend $9 million to lobby. Instead of securing the life of the citizens, instead of doing the right thing, they prefer to lobby and cover the eyes of people who are supposed to speak. Fellow Biafrans, wherever you are, don't stop talking. In that your small little platform, don't stop talking. You think they're not hearing? They are hearing us. We will continue to shout, we will continue to talk, we will continue to provide evidence because they are suppressing every single thing. Before we go into the message of today from Mazen Nandekano, I would like us to listen to this very news. It was Arise News that played it and they delivered it and they said that Nigerian government pays $750,000 for lobbying, while the Biafran people are paying another $66,000 or so to lobby. So you see how far they are going to make sure that they stop the quest for Biafra. They are doing everything they can to stop us. But I bet you we cannot be stopped. We cannot be stopped. We will never give up. No matter their propaganda, no matter their blackmail, no matter their lies, they will never speak to our own advantage. We know. They will not talk about things that matters. They will continue to push their lies and their propaganda, their rumors against us. And as they continue to push those propaganda and rumors, we will continue to debunk them. We will continue to expose them. I want us to listen to this. Let us hear this. These people are unbelievably wicked. They are unbelievably wicked. So let us try to let's watch this news first of all. Then after listening to this very news, we will come back and now we'll allow the message of our Supreme Amazon Nanikano to play. So we will continue to bring you even from their own conventional media so that you can hear and see for yourself what is going on in that contraption called Nigeria. A lot of manipulation, a lot of evil is going on. They continue to push their hatred, even with their media, all their media houses. They push their hatred against the Biafran people. They push their lies and blackmail against the Biafran people. They continue to push hatred against us, and we will not stop exposing them and confronting them whenever the need arises. It is an abomination that we cannot afford to be silent about. When you look at the right up there, this man is one of the criminals who is working in the media to fight. When they mention Biafra, he gets agitated. He begins to talk from all sides of his mouth. He begins to lie and begin to vomit all manner of nonsense. But that will not stop us from being whom we are or doing what we are supposed to do. We will continue to pay attention and we will continue to listen and hear as we follow what is going on. Let's hear what he has said.
Biafra will be a good proposition. I think it makes sense, truly, to the Nigerian people, as both Dr. Oluwole and President Tinubu try to point out. Now, as for lobbies, now lobbying is a standard, tested, old tradition within the American system. And the whole idea of lobbying is that you want your side of the story to be heard. So if Biafra, the people promoting Biafra, if they are going to the US and they are paying how much, $60,000 to sell their own story, that Igbos are being marginalized and persecuted in Nigeria, and that the idea of a Republic of Biafra will be a good proposition. I think it makes sense that the Nigerian government too is in that space. It's not about the money, it's about the fact that the Nigerian government wants to be heard, so that there's not just one voice in the room. The other matter is Nigeria being designated a country of particular concern on October 30, 2025 by President Trump. So it's a very good diplomatic move to say we want to have our own people in the room. There's a group called Aztec legal also, in Kaduna, that were told is representing the Nigerian government through the auspices of the National Security Advisor. On December 12, 2025, the Nigerian government paid $4.5 million for 6 months, and the contract is renewable for another 6 months. So the lobbyists, what they will be doing basically is to get the Nigerian voice into the room to say, one, there is no persecution of Christians in Nigeria, or where.
Did you see this idiot? Just listen to what the idiot is saying, and he's promoting it. That there is no persecution of Christians in Nigeria. That is what they are paying. This is a country that is borrowing money. A country that is borrowing, they are borrowing. Then instead of you to go ahead and protect the Christians and also stop the terrorism in Nigeria, you spend money on lobbying. And these idiots here will be promoting them and supporting them on that line.
It exists. The Nigerian government is addressing those issues, and religion is not, a major problem in Nigeria, to the extent that this is, a neutral state when it comes to religion, which is well stated in Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution, and which the Minister of Foreign Affairs referred to at a forum, I think, in Germany. Now, the delivery of military supplies by the United States, this is evidence, it is a clear evidence that the cooperation.
This is where their propaganda coming. He wants to paint it that there is a cooperation. There is a cooperation between who and who? Between the United States and Nigeria, which is a lie. A big lie from the pit of hell. This is how they roll.
That the Nigerian government talked about, that they said they needed, the assistance that they needed in dealing with the multiple threats that Nigeria faces on many fronts is real. And the Americans themselves have said there is mutual partnership between Nigeria and the United States. And now African Command, US African Command, AFRICOM, as it is known, has now brought these supplies to support the Nigerian government. The mutual interest that is there is that the Americans themselves do not want, the Sahel region or West Africa to be turned into a hub, into a playground for, global terrorism networks. And so it's a question of shared interest. As for Conquest, well, the people involved in the room, they are all adults. If they like, they will say they are leaving NNPP, they are going to APC. But the key point raised by Dr. Kwankwaso, which I think should be underlined, is this allegation that it looks like the APC is stealing people from other political parties and suppressing the opposition. Well, those who speak for the APC have said that is not the truth, and that it's people exercising their right to choose. But our long-term objective, as we move towards the 2027 general elections, that we do not want to have the kind of situation that they are going to have, that they are having right now in Uganda, in Myanmar, and that they have had in countries like Madagascar and Tanzania and Kenya, where the ruling party believes that it has an absolute right to suppress other people. We will not support repression or intimidation in this country. We don't have anything. We will speak up. And finally, those Biafra separatists who are looking for lobbyists in America, they can spend their $60,000, but they should know, they should be reminded that it's an act of sabotage against the Nigerian state.
You are an idiot. You are an idiot. We are not Nigerians. We are not. We have never been. When are you going to get it into your head that we, the Biafrans, are not Nigerians? Have never been. Nigeria is occupying our space. Nigeria is an occupying force in Biafra land. The lobbying we are lobbying is to get you out of our land and let the right thing be done. So if you don't know that now, it is because you are hateful, because you are wicked, because you are heartless. That is why you continue to talk down on the effort the Biafrans are making to free themselves from the contraction called Nigeria. And these lies that you come to do to harass the Biafrans on your studio cannot work. You're only destroying yourself the more.
If you are still a patriot, if you are still a citizen,
we are not patriots, neither are we citizens of Nigeria.
State, demarcating your country.
We are not. Nigeria is not our country, you idiot.
There are consequences in that particular regard. Everybody should be well advised.
You that is an occupying force, there is consequence.
Supporting people who are following self-determination rules.
Absolutely. A lot of big topics to unpack this morning, but maybe for ease of transition, let me continue where Dr. Abati has left off in discussing the issue of foreign lobbying. Now, it's become very clear that we've moved into an era where narrative control supersedes formal diplomacy as we've known it. We've gotten into an era where the person who is able to shape the conversation around particular issues holds the power, as opposed to that era when it was more about that formal engagement, counterparts sitting down and meeting and exchanging ideas. Now, of course, foreign lobbying is nothing new. This is a multi-million-dollar.
Because you are lying, that is why you are coughing.
Countries that engage in foreign lobbying: Japan, South Korea, UAE, and they spend up to $40-50 million per year to ensure that their policy directives are pushed forward. But what we're seeing in this current Trump administration, specifically relating to African states, is a little bit different. We're seeing some certain minority groups and breakaway groups going to appeal to the extremities, if I may say, of Donald Trump to try and push their own agenda. This is most blatantly seen in South Africa, where the group called AfriForum, that represents Afrikaner rights, which is a minority group, have gone to lobby, and they've said that, well, we are being persecuted in our country. And
it is time to hear the voice of the oppressed, because the Democrats have suppressed the oppressed people for a very long time. Thank God for Donald Trump that today the minorities, the people you are persecuting, they are going there, they have access. Are you crying because of that? This is a new world order. It's a new world order. You cannot be persecuting people and forcing people to be with you. You should know that there's a new world order. All this, your idea of keeping people in slavery, is no longer working. Get that into your head.
Seen that this has directly caused the breakdown of relations between South Africa and the United States. Now, in the instance of Nigeria, things are a little bit different, because the South African government have been able to bring out data and evidence to dispel all of what they have now categorized as disinformation around persecution of this particular group. The other thing is that this particular group are looking more for a safe haven. Well, you may call them a breakaway or a separatist group. That's AfriForum, who are looking for Orania, which is a land of Caucasians within South Africa where they can self-determine. Now, when you look at the Biafran group, as they are being called, or that are engaging in this activity, then one has to ask ourselves, have we, in engaging with the American government, have we finished our data collection? Have we finished our national framework for a strategy to counter and to actually deal with the foundational issues on the ground? Or else this will end up being a PR exercise. So we don't want it to be a failed exercise in putting lipstick on it.
It is already a failed exercise, and what your government is doing today to lobby in US is just putting the lipstick the way you thought. It's a failed exercise, because the issue of Biafra did not start today, and you don't compare it to what is happening in South Africa. We have fought the war in 1967 to 1970, and after the war, it continues. The persecution continues, the marginalization continues, and it is very, very open, and genocide continues up till date. That has now metamorphosed into Christian genocide. So the case of Nigeria and South Africa is totally two different things. And just like you said, what Nigerian government is doing, no matter the amount they spend in the US for lobbying, it will fail, because the time has come for us to be free. It doesn't matter the amount Nigerian government spend in the US, they will definitely fail. Not under Donald Trump. By the special grace of Chukwu Gabriel, he is not a saint, he is not a god, but Chukwu Gabriel will use him to do something significant in the case of Biafra, whether you like it or not.
issue that has deep foundational roots. It must be a concise and a thorough exercise that addresses international engagement on one level while combating some of the structural issues that are here on the ground, which is what we link to the arrival of this consignment of equipment that has come. First of all, we hope that this is an instance of cooperation with the U.S. government, collaboration, excuse me, with the U.S. government, and not cooperation. Collaboration means that you are peers on equal footing, agreeing on a way forward. Cooperation means that one group is being coerced or one group is beneath the other and is being strung along and forced into certain action. But we have seen results. The Nigerian Air Force have started doing airstrikes in Borno State, which have been a direct
That
result
is a lie.
of some of the information
A
gathered
lie.
by the US ISR,
That is a lie.
Surveillance and reconnaissance missions of the AFRICOM flights that have been coming about.
Burning bush.
So in essence, what we are saying is that the engagement is welcome.
Movie.
However, let it be that this engagement is supported by action on the ground that deals with the core fundamental issues that have brought us to where we are, whether it be around persecution of Christians, insecurity, spike in terrorism. It should not be a PR campaign. It should be about ensuring that we are communicating.
Your government is after PR.
That are being taken on the ground. And now quickly move to Abu Dhabi in the interest of time. Now, what the global conversation at the moment around sustainability and energy is called the energy trilemma.
What your government is interested in is nothing but PR, and that their PR is going to fail. So, Biafrans, wherever you are, you must be strong. These our cho continue to speak, they are hearing us. Never give up as a Biafran, never surrender. We must continue to speak, continue to expose the evil of the enemies. Don't keep silent. It doesn't matter the attack you get, it doesn't matter the disappointment, continue to talk. We will continue to talk. No matter what they do, no matter the angle they go, no matter their propaganda and their blackmail, we will continue to talk. And that we will continue. That is why now we do what we do. The Caliphate are not relenting and will not relent. We remember all the messages that we preached by Mazi Nnamdi. Everything he exposed, they are what is happening today. Everything Mazi Nnamdi exposed is what is happening today. That is why we will now go to visit the message of Mazi Nnamdi. Let's go to hear Mazi Nnamdi's message again for today. Let's hear him. Hopefully, when he finishes speaking, then we can hear directly from Master Simon also. And then we will now be able to put them together to continue to hang on and hold on. Don't you ever give up, no matter the challenges.
For the very first time in living memory, the Southern governors met in Ahaba. The real name is Ahaba, A-H-A-B-A, not Asaba. They met in Ahaba under the auspices of governors of Southern Nigeria. This is the first time I don't even remember before. If they have met, please try and enlighten me. I'm not sure I've met before. I know why did they meet? Because of the raging agitation in Biafra and also in Duala. That was why they met. For people, there are some people that will say, oh, well, I'm sure that nobody is even talking about what have they achieved, what have they done. But I just want to remind you, should anybody ask you tomorrow morning what you have contributed towards the advancement of the betterment of the lives of the people on the ground, you say to them, courtesy of what I have been doing, the Southern governors have now met for the very first time. And I don't know if some of you read the article in Guardian earlier today. Guardian is people carried it. Do you know that there was a particular governor from so-called South that did not want to come? Do you know that Fulani Janjaweed gave one particular governor, but listening device, to enter to the meeting? And I'm sure that people have guessed right, you know who that is. Darlings. Anyway, the love is good. We'll get to that later on. He's in love. You know when you're in love with somebody, there's nothing wrong with that person. You know how love is. He is so in love with his new partner, his new spouse, the new husband, that they gave him listening device, a bomb. That one gave him a bomb, a listening device to smuggle into the meeting. So that the family Janja will be somewhere in Kaduna, in Abuja, and in Sokoto listening to the meeting. Because of love. And who can blame him? Hey, love one thing. You know, love is very deep. Mrs. Tambuwan wanted to smuggle a listening device. If you actually go and read the article in the Guardian newspaper today about this security, they will tell you. But let me go. You know, when people do something that is right, I commend you. If you do something that is wrong, we shred you, we condemn you, we bury you alive. If need be. Of course, with facts and figures. They met today, they deliberated among many issues that were tabled before them, or issues of concern that they felt they needed to address. And I'll read it for you very briefly. They affirm that the peoples of southern Nigeria remain committed. For the very first time they're using the word the peoples of southern Nigeria, which means that all the nonsense being done by Tinubu and his cohorts is a thing. For the very first time, there has been affirmation that the South is actually one. Since 1914, this is the very first time that they are stating publicly in a communique that the South is one by the elected leaders, so to speak. For the purpose of our program this night, we even call them leaders. Because they did well. I must tell you the truth. Now, let us proceed. And before you, who brought them together in the first place? One is our agitation. Second is the unity and union, the bond between the East and the West. Between Biafra agitators and those that they could do. They have tried everything to break us, they could not break us. They had no alternative than to come together. Do you see what consistency does? This is the benefit of consistency. Once you're consistent in life, good things will come to you. And I also commend our Oduduwa brothers this very day for their resilience and their consistency. That is why, for the first time in a meeting, in a place, you have governors from the east, you have governors from the west, Igbo governors from the back of course, together, saying something that makes sense for the first time that I can even remember. The North, the Janjaweed will meet in our house, they will take decisions affecting the whole of the South, affecting everyone, and they ram it down your throat. You have to accept it. And where they found this courage, I have no idea. Maybe they are regretting what we are doing. They now understand that we have no fear for our enemies. They now understand that we are scrupulously clean, whiter than white and water and snow. They now have developed, what should I say, come to appreciate the essence of courage and determination. So for coming together, of course, I commend them. I do commend them because they have done very, very well. During this very meeting, they affirmed that peoples of southern Nigeria remain committed to the unity of Nigeria. Of course, that's expected if you consider that they get their monthly allocation. Everyone wants to go to Aswan. So they will say they want unity of Nigeria. But they want unity of Nigeria on the basis of justice, fairness, equity, and oneness, and peaceful coexistence between and among these peoples with a focus on the attainment of shared goals for economic development and prosperity. English, it has no meaning. The latter part of what they have written here has no meaning because they've been saying this rubbish for very many years. Now, the second point of the communique states, observe that the incursion of armed rebels, criminals and bandits into the southern part of the country has presented a severe security challenge such that citizens are not able to live their normal lives, including pursuing various productive activities, leading to a threat to food supply and general security. Basically, they are warning Fulani, Janjaweed, terrorist herdsmen, short from the ideological. They have now come out to say that they are concerned about the activities of the ideological. Consequently, the meeting resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria. In other words, if you see any cattle in any farm from tonight, anywhere in southern part of the zoo called Nigeria, you kill it. You are enforcing the law made, or should I say, directive executive order made by those that you claim you voted for to look after your affairs. They noted that development and population growth has put pressure on available land and increased prospects of conflict between migrating herders and local populations in the south. Given this scenario, it has become imperative to enforce the ban on open grazing in the south, including cattle movement to the south by foot. Nobody should bring cattle into the south. In other words, Ruga is dead. Cattle highway is dead. Cattle park and cattle routes, they are all dead. From what they deliberated and came to conclusion to this very day now. They concluded that anywhere you see Nigeriala with their cattle on foot inside your farm or anywhere, of course, in the east you call Eastern Security Network, and we treat them the way we are treating them. Why are they saying this? Because we took the bulls by the horn. We don't mess about all this nonsense. They're doing that rubbish. I don't take the rubbish. If we find you in the bush, you are bushmeat, you are gone. Both you and your cattle, you are finished. So now that gave them some liver to come out to say that we are now banning cattle movement. Number 4, we recommend that the federal government should support willing states to develop alternative and modern livestock management systems. And I wonder, why are you taking permission from the federal government? Was it not Osun State or whichever state in the west, Fulani, imported 250 pregnant cows from the USA? That one, they told the cow that now in Nigeria, the cow broke away from the crate in order to run back to the USA. A governor was able to do it without permission. But these ones, of course, they have to bow to the Fulani masters. They are taking permission from the Fulani, Fulani jungle, as if to say that cattle herding, or should I say animal husbandry or dairy products is the exclusive preserve of Nigerian. That is why you're going to the government bank with excuse to start your own cattle ranch in your states. Because you have agreed that nobody should enter into the cattle farming or rearing business unless you are a Fulani, unless you are a Ethiopian. Around nonsense. Pure bunkum. That is where I follow some of the things that they have said today. This one doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit. Why do you have to ask the state, the Abuja, to allow you to have cattle farms, or should I say, where cattle where you come from? You don't need permission from anybody. It is food for feeding of the people, so you don't need permission from anyone. Now, listen, they say they have agreed to progress. We have agreed that the progress of the nation requires that urgent and bold steps be taken to restructure the Nigerian Federation, leading to the evolution of state police, review of revenue allocation formula in favor of sub-national governments, and creation of other institutions which legitimately advance our commitment to and practice of federalism. Once again, they're begging for restructuring. That's what they're asking for, but along state lines, because they are governments. Because they know that if they ask for restructuring along the lines of region, vis-a-vis the Constitution of 1960 and 1963, somehow most of them will be out of the job. Do you see how parochial? Do you see how selfish these people are? What concerns them is their office for them to protect it. That is why they are arguing for restructuring along state lines where you will not answer your name. Where somebody can say, oh, I'm from River State that has no meaning. I'm from Delta State that has no meaning. I'm from a state that is named after a river, no longer the people. Because they know that if we ethnicize the identity of people in the zoo, our eyes or the eyes of everybody will open at the same time. They don't want to ethnicize it. What they want to do is to go with these same artificial boundaries, the same thing that the white man did. That is what they want to recreate. They want the entrenchment of the state system in the zoo in order for them to remain relevant and valued in office. And we are against that completely and totally. Now, these southern governors are recommending that in view of widespread agitations among our various peoples, here we come, we have now come into the play. Oduduwa and Biafra agitators who are now in the game. They are now talking about us. Let us say what they had to say. We recommend that in view of the widespread agitations, of course, by IPOB and Oduduwa agitators, among other various peoples, for greater inclusiveness in existing governance arrangements, the federal government should convoke a national dialogue as a matter of urgency. So we are now moving very close to that referendum we talked about. Because after or once you pick up a gun, it will always end on a round table. Not the table with four corners, no. The rectangular was always a round table. And they now understand it very clearly. They are now calling for national dialogue. If they have the clout, if they have the presence of mind or conviction to push these things through, for their counterparts and their husbands in the north to agree is another matter altogether. But at least they have said it. And they must also be commended for it. They also recommended that in deference to the sensitivities of our various peoples, there is need to review appointments into federal, like federal character, that Fulani should not dominate everything. This is a very diplomatic way of saying that Fulani should not take over every sensitive security position. It must also go to other ethnic groups as well. Now, this is one that I love very, very much. We have resolved to foster cooperation among the southern states and the nation at large. For the very first time, they are saying that the Igbo and Yoruba will work together. Islam is there, Ijaw is there, Ibibio is there, Efik is there. For the first time since 1914. Some of you may be shocked. This is the only time since Luga, that wretched Luga, came into the zoo to turn us into wild beasts and animals. I'm telling you, this is the first time that southern protectorate you've been hearing about. This is the first time that their so-called leaders are meeting since 1914. Over 100 years ago. Over 100 years ago, this is the first time they're meeting. Imagine if they had been meeting all these years as their northern counterparts were doing. Do you know why they met in Ahaba? They met for the simple reason that the divide and rule tactics of the north is no longer working. They can no longer divide us. And where I should give credit, I won't hesitate to give credit. That's a good comment to go on. The one that said this handshake across for us, because of course the boundary is not in Niger, it's in Economic. They started all this movement to try to unite the South. Those who go on that they are called. They have been fighting for very many years. And I also give them credit because this is as a result of what they have been fighting for over years. What Biafra and the Oduduwa agitators did was to give impetus to this very thing. That is what we are working on today. For the first time since 1914, over a century ago, over 100 years ago, the leaders of the South are meeting to discuss something, should I say, issues of common interest. They have resolved now to cooperate. Let it not be that when your husband calls you now from the north, you start panicking and saying, I'm not part of it. I'm from the southeast, I'm from south, I'm from southwest. Once you maintain that united front, you are impregnable. Even if once to be the governor may be responding to what the husband is requesting from the north, once you are united and you're very, very strong, the Janjaweed will bow. These are the things you must and have that in mind. Now, they have expressed concern. This is where they now come to Radio Biafra. I want you to understand that this meeting today in Ahab is all about those that want to know. And what we have been preaching on Radio Biafra for very many years, now is beginning. They pretend they don't listen, but everybody listens to what we have to say on this global platform. I mean, absolutely everybody. They listen to us, and we are winning this very war of ideology and war of philosophy. Why am I saying this? The governors expressed concern on the continued gridlock on Oshodi-Apapa Expressway, which we have been talking about now for years, and the chokehold it has exerted on the nation's economy, being the sole outlet in Apapa Wharf. The meeting therefore recommended the activation and establishment of ports in other states of the Federation to create new jobs and promote socio-economic activities in the country. What I have been preaching for very many years, isn't it? When somebody, I was in the dungeon, yes, somebody came to me and asked me, what would you like to see done? And I said to them that you must open the seaport in Warri, open the seaport in Ibocha that the white man named Port Harcourt, open the seaport in Calabar, and allow Onitsha and River ports to function. In fact, you can even go as far as building another one in Lokoja as well. I wrote these things down and I gave it to the federal government of Nigeria. When the Eastern governors called us for a meeting, I went to Eastern governors and I gave them the same thing. I never asked them for any money. I didn't ask them for anything. I didn't ask them to make my life better, to buy me a helicopter, to buy me a private jet, or to open an account for me in the Cayman Islands, stuffed with dollars. You know, I asked them. I said to them, like our people need employment. I said to them, go build where they are building in Nigeria today was my recommendation when I was in detention. I said to them, I'll give you this sound economic advice for free. But of course, they misused it. I said to them, if you go to everything I've been preaching for the past, I don't know if it's 7 or 8 years, it is there. Now, for the first time, they have agreed, they have come together to agree that Warri Seaport should be open. Calabar Seaport should be open. Ibocha that they call for seaport should be open as well. Now, do you understand it? But I want all the intellectuals to understand how far we have gone. We always win. I said to all of you, in the end, we win. Just remain consistent. Do not waver. Do not move to the right or to the left. Remain where you are on the path of truth, justice, and honesty. Eventually, your ideas will prevail. And today it has prevailed. They are now asking for the creation of jobs and the promotion of socio-economic activities in the southern part of the damnable zoological republic. The meeting expressed concern on the economic implications of another lockdown on the country. Now we know. They now know. This is what I want to talk about this evening. Before this very news or communique was issued by the governors of the South, they are locking everybody down to stifle the economy, to move, harden the terrorists into the South, to commence the final onslaught, the final phase of the Islamization agenda of the Sokoto Caliphate. It's not nothing to do with COVID. Absolutely nothing to do with COVID. They want to bring these people down to our land to commence the final onslaught before 2022, when they had hoped to overrun every inch of territory in the South on their path through Islamization of the damnable contraption we know as Nigeria. They do not want another lockdown, and therefore suggested greater coordination and cooperation between federal and state governments in evolving strategies for dealing with the pandemic. In other words, no, Yusuf Abubakar Mohammed cannot in Nasarok anymore and issue directives saying, oh, we are in a lockdown. What stupid lockdown? The Fulani is abusing it to stifle. Whereas the borders are open north. They can bring in rice, they can export cement, they can cooperate with their Niger Republic brothers and sisters and cousins. But in the South, they say no movement, lockdown. They want to stifle us economically because if you don't have money, there is no way you can lobby the world, there is no way you can buy weapons, there is no way you can exert any measure of influence. They want to be the ones handling the money alone. That is what they are planning to do. But I'm glad that the southern governors have come to their senses or have realized that eventually, or at last, they must rise up to say something about this stupid, ridiculous lockdown that the Caliphate is proposing. Now, they express very grave concern on the security challenge currently plaguing the nation and strongly urge that Yusuf come and address southern governors that have been preaching. How can you have a country where the president doesn't talk? Is that possible? Because they know we are waiting for the COVID and we are waiting for them. Once that he idiot comes out to speak, we will dissect, we will analyze, and they understand it. They do not want to put themselves to shame. That is the reason why he's no longer talking. Even the recorded ones used to get once every 8 weeks. You don't get anything. Now the southern governors are saying to us, please talk to us, or want to hear from you. Because they themselves are now convinced that Buhari is dead. They now know also that there is somebody in Asarok. Now they're asking him to come out to speak live, and we know we can never do it. Because we are waiting. We have recruited new scientists. There is no trick they will bring, no artificial intelligence, there is no deep fake video they will bring up now that will not dissect from top to bottom. From top to bottom. Now they express their gratitude to their host, which is the final power. He has done very well, of course. He has done very, very well to host this very meeting. I'm not excusing his idiocy and stupidity, but of course, for hosting, for once they're kind of, you know what? Do you know why they're talking? Because they know that the Fulani can no longer divide them. No longer can they divide them. No more. Because even if you divide the governors, the men on the ground, the foot soldiers on the ground, they are united. The East and the West, we are now bound together. That is why, for the very first time in over 100 years, the South is reasserting its identity. Because the North will always come and say, we are the North. This is a minority of people from the Sharia region. They have aspirated the middle belt. Then I say, we are the North. But when they come to us, they say, oh, this is East and this is West. They divided Nigeria into three to suit them. The North, the East, and the West. When they come as the North, they come as one block, one effective dominant block. This one is playing his own corner, West, and this one is East. Now, East and West have come together. Let the world. That was what they did, and I must commend them, those that attended. I must commend all of them that went there. But I'm sure that, let me see if Mrs. was there. Mrs., where are you? I'm looking at the names of those that signed. Oh, Mrs. came. She came as well. Because when he's with Tambuwali, he's a she. Then when he comes out to snort cocaine and be talking rubbish, he's a he. So the he, she, or she, he was there as well. Now we must preach. That was what they deliberated upon today. And we must understand it. One of the things we discussed was the lockdown. The lockdown declared yesterday by the federal government of the Zoological Republic. That people, Mrs. was there, of course, Mrs. After that, maybe tonight, she's briefing husband Tambuwai. You know what lovers do. Love is sweet. Have you seen their picture? How they are celebrating. In fact, I said to my wife today that we need to try this type of pose and pictures. So nice. We're going to do it very, 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 very short. We are going to pose like that as well. Do you see me here and Tambuwai? Hey! It's as if they just fell in love with last week. Such beautiful, beautiful picture. I liked it so much. I liked it so much that I had to comment on it. So beautiful. You can see, you know when people are in love, there's nothing love. And now, you know, that first 2 or 3 months, or maybe they're doing their own anniversary now. You can see how happy they are. And I wish them well, honestly. I wish she, he, and him well. They should live happily ever after. The lockdown declared yesterday by the damnable Zoological Republic is a ploy for terrorists coming to our land. Therefore, we are not going to obey this lockdown. I'm asking all Biafrans, everybody in Biafran territories, do not obey this lockdown. Let him come and ask himself. Kaleba Shehu and the entire Fulani Cabal cannot be sitting down and writing garbage all the time for us to be at here, mean about this rubbish. Let that dummy come out and address the problem to show to people this is the reason why on a live televised broadcast. Not all that's recorded, that rubbish that they brought out from time to time. Somebody said something as monumental as restricting people's movement.
You have heard the amazing message of our Supreme Leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He always has a word in him, and we cannot have enough of him. Always on point. Many things he has said in the past, we are replaying. And when you hear this message he just preached, this is the success that we made. How far we have gone before they brought us back. That is how far we have gone. We have gone very, 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 very far to unite the entire South. But at the end of the day, they turn back the hand of clock. And it's like we just started everything afresh again. It is sad. It is sad. After we have done everything we did, after we have recorded so much success, and suddenly they turn back the clock, and it's just as if we started from the beginning. But we will not relent. We will continue to do what we have to do, and we will continue to preach the gospel, and we will continue to say it the way it is. We have done a lot, and there is no going back. Consistency, we will continue.
Somebody is saying that was not good. And I don't think anybody should care about the people shouting on piano. So the reason why I'm doing this is that for those who may be ignorantly, and because they don't have the opportunity to get themselves educated, at least know why we are taking certain decisions that may be very hard, and why that particular decision we are taking and may be hard on you is the price and the sacrifice you make for the community. So we have been able to prove to the world that we control the entire, not just considerable part of the sovereign part of the Biafra. No, we have been able to prove to the world that we control the entire Biafra. And by so doing, government of Biafra in exile, legitimacy is being given to them by the people of Biafra themselves. You get the point now. So, do you want me to take you on a journey to another government in exile? Because there are many. And whenever you see that a country has government in exile, you know that activated, you know that the freedom is close. That you don't have the same language, you don't have the same culture, you don't have the same religion, you don't have the same law. Everything is different, pull apart. And then I ask them again, tell me anywhere in Europe that you have diversity and their strength. They have not seen. Some of them say, oh, she's alive. This is Switzerland. And you look for the entire Europe. This is Switzerland. And then they have actually the point. You see how hypocrisy and wickedness different. They point only one place, then you Switzerland. And they don't know that Switzerland is the only country in Europe that has a different law. It is where Abacha looted all the money in Nigeria and back. They have everything. And because the reason why they are not killing each other in Switzerland is because of the influence of the powerful
nation around them, which were built, by the principles that govern each member state of the European Union. Do you understand? So the influence of the European Union is being felt in Switzerland, especially the human rights, the rights and like they say, the free world. So Switzerland is part of free world. So those who go there speak German there, they understand, they are free world. Those who go there they speak, I don't know all the languages, they Dutch or something, they are also part of free world. And when you listen to something, they tell you, Switzerland, they have Dutch, they have German, they have this, they have that. And to them, it is a massive. Now ask them, what is the law? What is the law of Switzerland? You have two different, you have German law, then you have like law, is the law itself, or those who speak German, they have a different legal system. Those who speak Dutch, or the other language. So these are the things that when you ask them, it's like, so what we are saying today is that the Biafra that is coming is going to be the beginning of civilization in Africa. And if you don't know that Biafra is coming, you better well know. You better well know. There is nothing that will make election to go Biafra land next year. Somebody said that Simon Ekpa is trending on Twitter. I don't know. I see such thing. Every day I am trending because people are talking bad about me. I don't know whether it is because they are talking bad about me or it's because they are talking good about me, or because people are talking about Biafra. But trending on Twitter is a good thing. So So what I'm trying to say is that we are here to exit Nigeria next year and ignore us at your own peril. Okay? If you like, take us as a joke. Okay, it will happen right before your very own eyes. Okay, you will see what you have never seen before. You see this madness. Hey! Oh my God. Oh, you see madness. We are going to show the world madness. It is madness, right? Fulani think they are mad, right? They are carrying AK-47 to kill our people. Fulani think they are mad. And the British is supporting them. And they are not talking about our people being killed. They think they are mad. We will show them madness. Hi. Oh my God. This madness, we are going to show them. And in fact, let me play something for the man son of you. Okay, now. One moment. Then our leader man in Africa this one. That the reason why, okay, because IPOB cannot do everything by themselves. So there is something they are good. There is something they have other people don't have. There are something other people have that this one don't have. You see the brain there. So everybody is fighting for themselves, okay? So what do we do? Bring them together. Harmonize it. So, like I said, there are things I don't want to say. So now let me tell you. The reason why, because we have focus and our eyes is on the ball. So the reason why we insisted on sit at home, civil disobedience, is to make sure we establish the fact that we control Biafra. Are you getting the point? So one step, the most important step, is that the government of Biafra in exile control the territory of Biafra. Very, very important. Or at least control a very significant part of the Biafra territory. And we have proven that. And we got to prove it through our civil disobedience standard order. So when we are telling you something, you listen and follow us. So when you see that we started, supporting this particular civil disobedience, promoting it, I told you I was, that what we are trying to do is that we are training you for something that is to come. And because the reason why I want to make this tale open is for those who still think that we are joking. Because it is too late now. It is late for this thing not to work out. It is late for you to fight against the Biafra right now. I'm telling you the fact. So if we had, if we had exposed the reason why you was, adhere to this status quo, the government will do everything like they have been doing. They fought it. They say you are destroying Southeast. They say economy is dying. They say government is this. They say government is that. Oh, stop status quo. You know why they are fighting status quo? The reason why they are fighting status quo is not because of the economy. They never came for you. It's not because you're not dying. They never care for you. These people don't like you. If they like you, they will build hospital. If P2B like you, P2B will not put money in his bank and let it multiply. P2B would have used Anambra money to build hospital for you. P2B will use Anambra money to build schools for you. P2B will use Anambra money to build infrastructure that will look after your welfare and your well-being. P2B will not put money in the bank to multiply. And the same thing is applicable to everybody. And today, P2B is coming out to tell you the reason you are going to vote him as a Nigerian president is because he used the money meant for the development of Anambra to support his own banking business. And because of your brain is not working, you buy that again. So let me tell you, Matthew, for us to activate this Biafra government in exile, and for the government in exile to be recognized somehow, to have, to be recognized internationally, to go into diplomatic moves, into treaties, you must have a considerable control over the territory of Biafra. Do you see it? So now, the government in exile is activated from 2 days ago, and we are now in one platform. Means that the government in exile controls Biafra. We call sit at home, they're going to sit at home. We call for something, it's going to happen. We come to have something, it's going to happen. That is what I am showing you now, because what you don't know is bigger than you.
On Thursday, February 13, 2025, at approximately 4 a.m., the village of Maibai in the Democratic Republic of Congo was surrounded by gunmen from the ADF, an Islamic terror group with ties to ISIS. In 2 separate attacks that day, the terrorists came hunting for Christians in the village, abducting 70 people, men, women, children, and the elderly, and forcibly marching their terrified captives to another nearby village called Kasanga. They tied their hands behind their backs and led them to a church in the village, brought them into the sanctuary, and beheaded them. How can this be? Beyond the sheer horror of this brutality, the desecration of a church, the monstrous cruelty, what is truly shocking is that no one in the world seems to care. Where is the outcry? Where are the headlines? Where is the media, the governments, the religious leaders? Where are the Christian leaders crying out for their flock? The terrorists didn't just murder their Christian victims. They took them to a church to behead them there, to send a very clear symbolic message that this was an act of religious war, jihad. This is not an isolated incident. There is a continent-wide religious war being waged against Christians in Africa. Each year, thousands of Christians are murdered, raped, kidnapped, and beheaded for their faith, burned inside their churches across the continent. The extent of the threat is massive. Security researchers have described the continent as an emerging global epicenter of terrorism. The European Union Institute for Security Studies has estimated that more than half of all conflict violence targeting civilians in Africa arises from Salafi jihadist terror groups. A report by the American Enterprise Institute finds Salafi jihadi groups linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State are spreading and strengthening in Africa, and that these groups will grow more lethal over time as they develop military and non-military capabilities and gain access to resources and opportunities that will drive an increased transnational terror threat as they mature. According to the Development Organization, Aid to the Church in Need, across Africa, from sub-Saharan Africa to East Africa, there are at least a couple dozen terrorist organizations that have as their ambition to install caliphates in their territories. According to the Hudson Institute, the common denominator to the attacks against Christians in Africa is radical Islamist ideology, which infects individual Muslims, local mosques and villages, and coalesces into terrorist organizations. And menacingly, small organizations eventually find their way into global Islamist networks. The scale of the threat can already be measured. The Global Terrorism Index gives a composite measure of terror activity in the country, weighted over 5 years and made up of incidents, fatalities, injuries, and property damage. It ranks countries ranging from Mali to Nigeria, Niger, Chad, the DRC, Kenya, and Mozambique as greater terrorism threats than the traditional staples of Yemen, Iraq, Iran, Egypt, and Pakistan. According to the Global Terrorism Index, in recent years, the majority of all terrorism deaths globally occurs in sub-Saharan Africa. What this means is that African Christians are experiencing the brutality of an October 7 all the time, and no one seems to care. I have not heard any global or African Christian leaders taking up this cause. Where is the South African Council of Churches, the World Council of Churches? Where are you? Don't you care? The South African government doesn't seem to care. The African Union doesn't care. The United Nations doesn't care. Just last week, I received an international delegation of senior religious leaders driving the agenda of faith communities for this year's G20 meeting in South Africa. I told the delegation that this issue of the jihadi war waged by Islamic terror groups across Africa must be top of the G20 agenda, especially since it is being hosted in Africa. They were uncomfortable with this, preferring to highlight what they called issues of social cohesion or religiously inspired violence. I said to them that unless we can call this threat by its name, a continent-wide jihad, Christians will continue to be persecuted and butchered. This denial and moral obfuscation must end. I'm a rabbi. Why am I the only one who's raising the plight of Christians in Africa? But I cannot watch the carnage and stand by and do nothing. I cannot do this alone. That is why I'm turning to you, to everyone who is listening to this now. Go speak to your pastors, priests, and church leaders. This must be the subject of sermons this coming Sunday in every church across South Africa, across the world. Call, write, implore your leaders to act, to talk about this issue in church, to take it up with politicians. If you need more information, contact me and I will link you with experts and research in this field. If you're in the United States or the rest of the world, contact your senator, your congressman. If you're in South Africa, speak to members of parliament, write to the president. We must all act. We must raise our voices. We cannot sit by passively and allow this carnage to continue. The jihadi war against Christians in Africa must end by mobilizing support from church leaders and politicians across the world. We can stop it. In the book of Genesis, when God confronted Cain about the murder of Abel, Cain responded, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And God said to him, "What have you done? The blood of your brother cries out to me from the ground." Right now, the blood of our brothers and sisters in Africa cries out from the ground. We cannot answer as Cain did. We cannot stand idly by. As the book of Leviticus commands, do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. We must act now to stop this brutality.
That is a very strong message, and that is the situation that you cannot deny.
You're quite right. It's good for us to be with freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, so the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long. I can say for certain what Lagos has done. When we lost direct contact with Lagos, they had some 4 battalions ill-equipped, and I know that they have been purchasing a lot of arms since, and I know that they have negotiated and received a few armored vehicles. Prior to that, they had some stout cars. I know they have tried to get planes. I am not sure they have got them there. But on our side, we too have not been sitting quietly. There has been quite a lot of build-up. And I think what I have here is sufficient to maintain the integrity of the Biafra and more.
That was our eternal leader speaking. These words are words of encouragement that we must not overlook.
Now, eventually, and the government in Nigeria, the man, we will go in, where to the Anaka. Ndiausa, Ndini Ndi Fulani, even go back of fact, when they want to go now, Allah Akbar, Nigeria can start now, when you fact, how do they want to then give one more now, leave. They will buy at the same time. Kinafa, get below the one, they want to give a mental problem. Yeah, but it was very big problem. Ota is away, and somebody had one in their life. Also, on the election, one of the major, most powerful countries ever in the world. The election, the man who lose the election. Was going to lose the election. The terrorists, the Hamas, the ISIS, the Al Qaeda, the Boko Haram. Election. Give one normal an event. Give us now because of that same event. You have a problem. Look at it ever. Even in our because of the better person of Israel. It's okay, they know begin. Like now election and get another election, the man of that. Israel they get by the root. This is the covenant children of God. And they power. They for the apple black and the faka where tomorrow in a chipujapa. They will put that. This is the root. This is the room which they can root to give an something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Money mama, money hand a pukita weekend. Like even again, they say like online. On a cigar, money have the truth. Of goodness, Yama, people, you put it in the Bionia. Iga, Malaria, we film with the police and power. Now, even all the tribes everywhere in Nigeria, up to one in the even from Bible, the only tribe are how to protect their own. So the elites non and people, how to fight and protect their own. That's what we see in the Bible now. Let's go to one time I don't want to play that, but I'm the best player that because actually we work on this. But can I have a David and I say, Sakopania, they can deal with someone can deal with and find you out and find you wrong because now if we think about the Haman over Israel, people make most of our elites are not Aryan. Oh yeah, but in the watch over the weekend, who will call and told them on Yoruba. They are not having a Yoruba nation. I can tell you nation. They will say again, the police war not as a now, try. I will not happen after passing also pay even the time. I am Yoruba nation. You have it. For my role was there, everybody's greatest surprise. And you put up. But the day now trouble Yoruba nation, you can now watch your video. Watch your photos we go see how many. If any Nigerian police in army if because also so one that click 40 years you know, and I said those 3 bullets to them. But they did not come out to kill those people. Try I am telling you, I got one pieces one. What can the difference? Difference is the Yoruba Mala, now they are the least people all know Gapohanas. And I got more to give them one idea. They will fight and protect their own. Can you remember that Fulani has now wirely mafia now SWAT and big money. And now they was it money easy. Give me but we wrote that I can't pronounce terrorist organization. Why? Because how to protect their own. Our misguided brothers that we need to call them to order, our misguided, misdirected brothers. So, he said, federal government cattle route, also if I say, open a family, rice, attire, and the secondary compensation. Even the government in the Bible is to defend them. Federal government has never come out to condemn the flag against them. Why? Because nothing of finance. Can you go away before we declare Boko Haram terrorist organization? And making the law, making the book in the take the servant.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. there was a nation living in peace and unity. Hey, they are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see a nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna oppress us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of our heroes' blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
With your flag over Africa, welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home.